Right, try pressing everything. When you say that man, I assume you refer to Joe Dark. Yes, at least I think it was him. You think. All I could really see were shadows. Horrors that immediately preceded the incident. It's also documented in the prosecutor office reports. So then you panicked and rushed towards them. Why would you do something so dangerous? What else could I have done? He was about to stab Marshall. Seems convinced that Dark was the one holding the knife. As we just theorized, Marshall was the one holding the knife. I didn't know that at the time. The Dark guy knocked me down. All I could think about was I got to help Mr. Marshall. I think I knocked away the man with the knife. What do you mean you think? This all happened so fast, and I was in shock. I don't remember everything clearly. What I did, it was all kind of a blur. In a matter of a few seconds, Miss Sky was almost killed. Then she witnessed a murder about to take place. A little disorientation is only natural. I saw the man about to stab the other person, who I thought was Mr. Marshall. I knew I had to stop the man with the knife. What you did was very brave, young girl. What happened next? Then there was another flash of lightning, and that's when I saw the blue badger. Are you sure about this? Of course. See? I even drew a picture of him. But the head detective of criminal affairs thought up this hideous beast. It was just this year. The blue badger didn't exist 2 years ago. It's all quite verifiable. I knew it sounds strange. Surprised too when I saw him in the police department. I had this nagging feeling I'd seen him before somewhere. I finally remember. Oh, brother. Just when you thought that thing had caused enough commotion. Where in the room did you see him dancing? He wasn't in the room. I'm sure he saw his shadow. His shadow? You mean you didn't actually see his face with its winning smile and all? That's right, I still remember it. It had 3 creepy horns. This is pointless. That thing couldn't have possibly existed 2 years ago. The witness must be mistaken. May well be. What's important is what caused her to think she saw what she did. Oh, and I suppose you have an explanation. By all means, tell us what this shadow really was. Well, what was it? Emma saw when that lightning flashed. What is this blue badger, really? I might just know. It hadn't even been dreamt up when Emma drew this picture. Yet she's certain she saw its shadow. Ladies and gentlemen, the defense's belief on that fateful day 2 years ago, there was indeed something that looked similar to the blue badger. Something that is now sitting in this very room. What is it the witness saw in that instant? Show us the mysterious blue badger look-alike. Well, it's obviously not going to be the blue badger itself. It didn't exist yet. Nothing remotely looks like it on... Nothing else remotely looks like the blue badger except for this jar. Are you checking it? Make it look like the blue badger. It's kind of hard to get it like this, though. I think I got it the wrong way. There we go. Turn around a little bit. Gotta keep on rotating and gotta get it right. I think that'll do it. It's this jar. Serious blue badger was in fact this. But that's, where exactly is that? Also, I want to show that The jar is also within the room of Gant's office, so you can also go with that if you wish. I believe that's some sort of jar. But Mr. Wright, it doesn't look anything like the Blue Badger. Indeed, it doesn't. At least as it stands now, it's a plain jar. However, what if I were to change our viewpoint? In our viewpoint, I got to show them the correct angle to look at this from. I just showed you, so it's not that way, so we gotta rotate this sucker again. No, not like that. Go towards that way. Think like that. I think that should be good. Or a little bit more down. Yeah, like that. This isn't right. Gotta make him look more like the Badger. What? Of course it looks like it. Hinges on the witness's drawing. Alright, calm down. The right angle. Maybe I should rotate it vertically a little bit more. Or at least they don't pay. At least they don't screw me over. Pretty sure I had it right. That has to be it. Is that it? Damn it! Alright, I'll try to get it right this time. Please, get off my ass. As long as they don't penalize me for anything, I'm fine. How about that? There, you happy? Jackass. Is this a miracle or what? Almost a perfect match. No one possibly can deny this charge of resemblance to the Blue Badger. No. It can't be! Order! The defense has proven its claim. About damn time. The mysterious Blue Badger witness on the day was actually this. Although we all enjoyed Mr. Wright's dramatic performance, one question remains. What's your point? What do you mean? So the Badger thing was actually just a jar. It doesn't change anything. I'm afraid that's where you're wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. You see, this changes everything. Indeed? Well, very well then, tell us. What's the difference? It's different now that we saw this jar. Well, wouldn't be the murderer, and I don't think he'd be the murder weapon, so I guess it's the location? Let me take these things in turn. At the moment of the murder, the witness saw this jar. Not only that, but she saw it at a very specific angle. Knowing this, where could she have seen this jar? Where? The location of the jar is shown in a picture taken on the day of the crime. It's on a shelf on the office of Damon Gant. But the body was lying near in La Sky's desk. The witness testified herself. Yes. And it is these two facts that reveal what really transpired. You see, the struggle between Joe and Dark did not take place in La Sky's office. It happened on the other side of the room, in Gant's office. Are you implying that the murderer moved the victim's body from Damon Gant's office to La Sky's office? Yes. Why would he do that? There's no reason. Exactly. If there wasn't a reason, he wouldn't have gone through with the trouble. Only logical conclusion, there was a reason. You know what that reason was? Well, not really. I finally figured it out. And this is why I want to try to stop the trial. It's too late to quit now, though. Please recall the witness's testimony.
She said that she knocked away the man who was holding up the knife. In the next instant, the jar was hit and flew through the air. Now tell me, who could have sent the jar flying? That would have to have been the impact of the man made when he was knocked against the wall? Ladies and gentlemen, may I draw your attention to this picture once more. If the man was knocked in the direction of the shelf the jar was sitting on, what would he have hit? Ah! A suit of armor, holding a very sharp and dangerous-looking sword. Yes. Since the man who was knocked into the armor was carrying a broken knife, he would have had to have been Neil Marshall, wielding the prosecutor's award. No, Mr. Wright, you can't be thinking. Yes. There is another possibility that what actually transpired in that room. Another possibility? Of course, the perpetrator would have no idea nonetheless. I don't know if I can go through with this. Mr. Wright, what's the matter? If events took place as defense theorizes, then the outcome is obvious. In that moment, assuming the man Emma Skye knocked away was actually Neil Marshall, he would have died. Oh shit. I think we just flubbed up. Everyone's in shock. You mean Mr. Marshall died because of me? No! Ah, generic and what the hell? Who fell? I never imagined her testimony would lead to this. So it was the witness who took the victim's life. And proved so with her own testimony. This is unprecedented. Objection! Whoa, Lana. What are you saying? I'm sorry, Miss Skye, but given the circumstances, Joe Dark murdered Prosecutor Marshall. How can you think there was Emma? How dare you try to pin the crime on her? Imagine that, coming from you. If you recall, it was you who admitted to forging evidence 2 years ago. The reason you moved Prosecutor Marshall's body was to keep anyone else from finding out what Emma did, wasn't it? I assure you, Mr. Edgeworth, I have no idea what you're talking about. If you hope to have anyone believe your insane allegations, I'm afraid you're going to have proof. Tell me, do you have any conclusive proof that proves my sister killed Marshall? Evidence? I'm willing to bet you don't. Yes, it certainly would be difficult to prove this with evidence. If we don't have evidence, then we'll have to rely on testimony. I'm afraid that won't work in this case. Both parties involved in the incident are dead. You certainly can't get dead people to testify. This has all been a wild goose chase from the beginning. Why are you smiling? I don't like it when you smile. Touché, Miss Skye. Of course, that only leaves us with one possibility. You mean there's still another possibility? What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? I mean the possibility that the victim has left us a message. For better or for worse, Mr. Marshall did not die instantly. He may have left behind the name of the person who took his life. Somehow. That's impossible. Well, Mr. Wright, it's the only possibility left to you. A message from the deceased. Does such a message exist? I've got to think back to the court record. Real murder's name listed behind, is in the evidence. This message from the deceased is already in our possession. Mr. Wright, will you stop at nothing to prove my sister a murderer? Well, I'm not trying to. I just want to get to the bottom of this. Do not be mistaken, Miss Sky. Our purpose is not to accuse Emma of any crime. There's only one thing we seek: the truth. No matter how painful it may be. Now then, Mr. Wright, please show us the piece of evidence that conveys a message from the deceased. Well, it's not going to be any of this evidence, and not this evidence. Nothing. Well, let's check this out. Zoom in a bit. Doesn't it seem like something is written on this jar? Something written clearly in someone's blood? Present the jar. This is the message left by the deceased. Is that Blue Badger from before, right? Oh, is he going to speak the killer's name? If that thing could, I'm sure it would. It's not the Blue Badger, you morons! The message left here, on the surface of this jar. What do you mean? If you look closely, you can see a faint trail of blood on this jar. Looks like someone wiped the blood away. Yes, but notice, for some reason, some of the fragments was not wiped away. Yes, there was a line here, drawn in blood. So what you're saying is that these dots were once lines. Prosecutor Marshall did not die instantly. He used a few precious moments left to him to leave behind a message. One apparently someone wiped away. But blood must have been seeped into the jar where the lines changed directions. Precisely so. All we need to do is connect these points, and the victim's name will be apparent. Or the message, excuse me. What kind of message did the victim leave for us? Your Honor, I believe these bloodstains reveal to us the answer. Gotta connect these dots to make letters. There's only one thing to do. Murderer's name. And so they're talking about Emma, so let's connect this to make an E. Oh, we can't deal with that. Like that, and then like that. And then we make R-A. And there. It's Emma. The defense attorney's duty to prove his client's innocence. That's why all I've been thinking about is saving Lana. After all my efforts, I never thought it would turn out like this. Emma. So this is the final message Prosecutor Marshall left behind. This is not good. This is not good. Of all people, she may not have meant it, but in the end, the one who took the victim's life was Emma Sky. Oh, grand. See, Worthy? Can't say I didn't warn you. Oh God, not you. Chief Gant. Do you understand the implications of what you've done? What? What are you talking about? 2 years ago, Joe Dark was sentenced to death. He was convicted because of his final murder. I believe you are the prosecutor in the case, were you not? Ugh. Yes, Worthy. Because of you, an innocent man was sentenced to death. Not only that, but you used forged evidence to ensure his conviction. Ah! Hold on a goddamn minute. But Joe Dark really was a serial murderer. It's undeniable. Stop playing with your goddamn hair, fool. I'm afraid that's not important. Didn't you know? We weren't defenders of justice. What? We're merely keepers of the law. Sentencing a man to death is no light matter. Even if there wasn't any cover-up or forgery. Ultimately, the responsibility falls on the prosecutor in charge. Despite what anyone may say, this fact cannot be denied. What's going on at the prosecutor's office? They might have sent an innocent man to his... Bullshit! Bullshit! The guy was a murderer. It was proven. Here we go again. The gavel's pounding fell on deaf ears. Unable to settle the crowd, the judge declared a recess. Where this trial is headed, no one knows. It may be continued, but I'm not going to end right now. Yeah, why not? We're going to continue on right here, right now. Back into defendant's lobby. Sorry, Edgeworth. I didn't mean to get you in trouble. Don't worry about it. This is my problem, not yours. Gumshoe, what's up? Oh, guess I am. I'll come back later. Gumshoe, what is it? Get back here. Making a detective run around all day while on duty. Top it off, you call me here. I see you have appear at funerals. I take it Lana's having you run errands again. Let me tell you, this is the last time. Here, she asked me to give you this if there was a break in today's trial. Evidence law. Jennifer was talking about this just the other day. Flashback! No evidence should be shown without the approval of the police department. Well, I guess we can study it now, since we got a book. I want to give you a message. A message? She said if you're planning to take him on, you're going to need this book. Him. I guess I need to give this book a thorough read. Securely slipped evidence law into pocket. Must have some huge-ass pockets. Doesn't look like that book will do you any good, though. All that's left now is the chief prosecutor's sentence. That's where you're wrong, detective. Haven't you figured it out yet? I'm still sitting in that prosecutor's seat, despite all these allegations being thrown at me. Mr. Edgeworth. The real trial today hasn't begun yet. What? What else is there left to do? Your credibility's all been ruined with this forged evidence you were unaware of. MS Guy found out she unwittingly caused a man's death. And now you're telling me you want to do more? You gotta be kidding me. You're missing the point, Detective. Lana didn't murder Detective Goodman. She merely stuck a knife into his dead body. That means the real killer is still out there. What? And we're gonna expose him. No matter what it takes. This case has hurt too many people. It's time to bring it to an end. Let's get that motherfucker! Alright, we're back in session. Reconvene for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. Mr. Edgeworth? Yes? The inquiry committee is planning to impose harsh penalties for your actions. Thank you for the news, Your Honor. Yes, well, normally this is where the prosecution calls for a witness. But, this isn't easy to say. You see, there is some concern that Mr. Edgeworth may have struck a bargain, excuse me. You think I may have manipulated the witnesses? I didn't say that. It's just that you see everyone has been talking and... Very well, Your Honor. I have a solution. Solution? That being the case. The prosecution will allow the defense to call forth all further witnesses. What? There's never been a case example. And I believe this is an unusual arrangement. But a very effective one. To prove that I haven't struck any deals with the witnesses. Well, Mr. Wright, what do you say? Unbelievable. Edgeworth has found a way to continue the trial. Very well. The defense accepts the prosecution's proposal. Then it's settled. The defense may now call forth the next witness. Mr. Wright? You do realize this is your last chance. If you call the wrong witness, this trial is as good as over. Defense calls. It's really come to bring out the real murderer. I call Chief Gant. Damon Gant. The defense calls Damon Gant to the stand. Damon Gant? What does he have to do with anything? As the defendant's partner 2 years ago, Mr. Gant has first-hand knowledge of the crime. I feel we should hear what he has to say about it. As luck would have it, he'd still be in the courthouse. He's also the least likely to have been manipulated by me in any way. Wouldn't you agree, Your Honor? True. Alright, bailiff, escort Gant to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. What is this, some kind of practical joke? This is my way to lunch. Your name and occupation, sir. Are they? Are you sure you want to do this? Your name and occupation. So, you want to play hardball? Please, Mr. Gant. Fine. My name is Damon Gant. I'm the acting chief of police. Now then, Chief Gant, court requests to hear your testimony. Oh, righto, what's with the grim face? First, let's clear up this SL9 incident. Oh, you mean the time when Lana's sister murdered the prosecutor? Personally, I think it's been made pretty clear already. There's still some things unaccounted for. Oh, like what? Like the role you played in all this. Son, either you're very brave or very foolish. There's always a very fine line. You're unaware that the police chief has all kinds of weapons at his disposal. Weapons? Sure, take my testimony for example. He can fire bullets. I don't have to give it if I don't want to. What? Is that true? I'm afraid so. The chief of police has the right to refuse to testify. Of course, such an action carries with it certain risks. Don't worry, I'm not here to hinder your trial. Just remember, if this turns out to be a big waste of time, don't say I didn't warn you. Very well. Witness may now give the testimony. Alright. A cell 9 incident. As I recall, Neil and I were questioning him that day. To make a long story short, we slipped up. The power outage didn't help either. When I went to my office, I found Lana there. Apparently she had already arranged the crime scene. As you can see, I had nothing to do with the forgery. Is that when Joe Dark was arrested? Him? He was lying on the floor unconscious. Like we really need a reenactment game. I must send Neil flying. It seems Dark bumped his head. I see. Everything seems pretty clear-cut. The police chief has the right to refuse to testify. Then I better hit him hard and fast. By pressing everything in his testimony.